Today we're going to be painting on a shovel. Yes, you heard me right, a shovel. We're going to be doing some yard art. Hi, I'm Myra with Boutique Paint. Thank you for joining me. This is just one of those short little shovels. I got 2 of them the other day when I was at an estate sale for $1. See, the tag's still on that one. And you can see that there's a bunch of stuff on this, and it's concrete on both of these shovels. And what I did is I just kind of embraced the concrete and painted right over the top of it. I did clean it up before I painted it. I used a baby wipe and just cleaned the stuff that would come off of it. And then I just went ahead and painted it old school DIY paint. So for this project, one of the stencils we're going to be using is the Hopeful Petals by DIY Paint. Debbie designed these herself, and they come in sections. So basically you're putting down your first paint color, you're going to put down your second paint color. And what that does is it does a nice job of layering your paints. So we're going to start with the bottom one, and I'm going to have this kind of go a little bit off the shovel. And I'm going to start out by using Kissing Booth. I'm just going to put a little bit of tape just so that it doesn't completely walk off. I don't want stencils walking off by themselves. All right. So I'm going to start in this corner first because it's the hardest one to paint. And I'm sorry for any shadowing. I am currently in my family room on my coffee table. I still haven't completely organized my shed yet, and my table in there is a little bit on the small side. So it is hard to do a bigger project, and I'm hoping that'll change when I'm done out there. So here we are. But in the meantime, the lighting is not good. I can tell that already. So I apologize. So because that's curved, just kind of go away from the edge of the stencil. And what that does is it keeps the paint from bleeding up. So as long as you're going away from the line. And we'll go ahead and lift this. And isn't that beautiful? Okay, so now this is dry, so we're going to go ahead and take the second part of the stencil and line it up. Let's see. And what you can do is you can just take a pencil when you're doing this and just put a dot where the X's are on the first one. That way it just automatically does the line up for you. You just line those X's up. Since I didn't do that, and they don't line up perfectly, so don't expect them to. And then I'm going to use Petticoat Pink, and I'm a little bit afraid this might be too light of a color over the top of this, and it's not going to show up quite as vibrant as I might want, but I will do, let's see, just a little bit here. And see. I'm going to put a little bit of the pink on my paper right here. And then I'm going to add in a little bit of the Kissing Booth, which is the base color, just because I think I want this to just be a smidge darker. Yeah, that's a much better color. And on this, just kind of, because the lines are kind of thin, just kind of paint within those lines, I guess is the best way to say it. So go with the line. Kind of like that. Okay, now I'm gonna really push down on that so that I can get that stencil close to the shovel. Same here. This is a little harder because this isn't wanting to go in quite as tight to the side of the shovel as I would probably like it to. So let's go ahead and pull this one off. There we go. So now that can dry naturally as I do another flower. I think I'm going to do one here. And this one might even be trickier, what I'm trying to do. Once again, I'm going to go off the shovel. So we're going to hold this down best we can. That's also not easy to see through my hands. All right. That looks pretty good. You can see a little bit of the gray coming through. That's all right. So we're going to line this one up. Same thing. I'm going to take the tape. Actually, that one might work there. Take the tape off this edge. Just keep those pushed down. And if you got paint someplace that you think you shouldn't have, for now, just embrace it. Once you get this off, you know, you could do touch-up. I wouldn't. You know, this is going to be something that I'm going to put in my yard. So I'm probably going to hang it on my work building, which is outside in our yard. So I thought it would just be something fun to be hanging out there. Add some color. My shed is white on the outside, so a pop of color is always fun. All right, let's go ahead and pop that up. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the queen bee out. And I'm just going to take a brush that has a small, kind of pointed, and I'm just going to pop it in there, and I'm just going to come in here and add some of the queen bee. Just kind of dot it in there. Remember that in design, odds are better than evens. That goes for color also. If you have a room that is just, for example, blue and white, it really just doesn't have enough. So if you bring in blue, white, and say yellow, or blue, white, and green, you're going to have a much more dramatic effect in your room. Well, that's true when you're doing something like this. Bring in that third color. So I'm going to grab the leaf portion of this, and I'm going to use the smaller leaves too. So I've got two different colors of green for this. So I'm using Fancy Farm Girl and Aviary, and I think I'm going to start with the Fancy Farm Girl. And I'm going to tuck this a little bit. I'm going to try not to get into the flower. I think I want it to kind of come off the flower. So I'm going to be trying to do this so you can see without having my arm in the way. So I'm just going to kind of go around that flower. I'm just going to have it come in from the side just a little bit. I don't want the whole leaf. Tape it down, but I'm going to switch to the Aviary. And this is just a little bit darker. And I have a fairy, which is kind of fun. And I think I'll do her there. And then I'm going to use the butterfly here from this stencil. And this is our new stencil. And it comes in 10 mil. And it is Fairly Mushrooms is the name of this stencil. So on this detailed of a stencil, you will want to be more careful. And you could even use the stencil glue. But I'm just going to try to be super careful. I'm going to use a dabber, and I'm just going to dab off some of the paint. And then I'm just going to go in here, holding the stencil down, and pounce. The nice thing about using stencil glue on the back of these is it helps to keep the paint from going underneath the stencil. It's not just to keep it in place, it's also to help so you don't have runaway paint. I think what I want to do now is I'm going to put this into a little bit of pink. I'm just going to do this where the wings are. All right, looks good. Let's get this lifted. And when you're lifting, you want to go straight up. And there she is. Now, so I'm not sure if this is going to turn out because there is such a curve from on the shovel. The other shovel that I got is a lot flatter. And so it'd be honestly a lot easier to do exactly what I'm doing on it. But we're going to give this a try. And I'm just going to try to hold it in place the best that I can because the tape's not really wanting to stay. I'm using Old 57. I'm going to use a standard stencil brush only because I didn't bring out one of the other ones or bring it in. I'm not sure this is going to work. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lift it. We'll see what kind of mess I made. Not horrible, honestly, considering how hard that was to do it. So when you're out there looking for a shovel, try to get something that is a little flatter. So what I'm wanting to do next is just kind of do some green vine up the handle, and I'm just gonna kind of free hand this. I also have this stencil here. This is our Vined Daisy stencil. So up here, I think I'm going to take a little bit of the Kissing Booth. And I can't see what I'm doing, so I'm hoping. There we go. That's not bad. I think I'll just do a fern on the handle here. Do some of these leaves here on the handle. If I can find my green brush that I buried. I'm going to use aviary on this one. All right, there we go. But that's it. When this is all dry, I will go ahead and wax it, and I will call it good. The other thing you could do is put a top coat on it, like Big Top. I think the wax will be fine. It is going outside. I will probably let the wax set up a couple days before I actually put it outside and hang it on the wall. But that is our project for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions about any of the products I used, you can go to our website at www.boutiquepaint.com. Bye.